All right. Oh, yeah, I was kind of debating whether to keep this waiting till probably around our usual time, but I decided to attempt to do it earlier than 6. And what's going to happen is if I get interrupted, I'll just come back later and try again. God, it's been such a just a really weird, chaotic week. Um, I am glad I did the fighters video because I've been waiting to do that for a couple of weeks. Like I had always had that issue with the roster, but I knew that what's a good word for it? I had to take the arguments I had and script them out and then release that instead of just let me turn my camera on and complain about this because it's a lot harder to argue with something that's been thought out and given time to kind of develop. I might put out another Dragon Ball video tomorrow because I'm getting kind of disenchanted with streaming on Sunday. Um, really, just streaming in general seems to be such a like a big hassle because of the virus and just people, being around all the time. So that's the main reason. Um, yeah, it's probably going to be another wasted video. Again, I don't know for sure if I'm gonna. I might stream tomorrow. I'm leaning toward not doing it, but who knows? Oh yeah, I also heard back from was that I think it was 7-Eleven. Let me see. There was some place I applied to like 2, 3, 4 months ago, and it was part of a big sting of them. As I said before, I usually do several at once. So when they said, we at store da, 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 have determined that you don't meet our qualifications or we're not interested, I'm looking at the email so confused because I don't even remember which one that was. Hmm. So let me go look and see who that was, or rather, uh, what particular store that was. Okay, that was KFC. And when did I apply to KFC? 'Cause I know it was at some point this year, but I don't remember. Okay, June 3rd. And that was to 6 of them. So it might be one of those, or it might be because that's not the first time I applied there. Let me go look. This is all really discouraging, by the way. God, man, people just keep playing these games over and over. Oh, and then this other clown. Did you hear? Who is that? I don't. Is that some YouTuber? I don't know who that is. Have you seen the totally not bought out health officials covering up that they broke their own mandates by fully embracing the recent protests? I have not seen it. As I said, since March, politics has been very boring. because it's literally either virus or the protest. Yeah, I didn't know who that was, Ruben. Thank you for clarifying. As I've mentioned before, I don't really follow any of the other content, like unless they do political stuff or maybe something I'm really into. I generally stay away, especially if they're on Twitch. I don't even use Twitch. I think I've been on a Twitch stream more than maybe once this year. So that's why I didn't know who that was. Like, who? If he's so famous, why have I never heard of him? I love when people do that. Well, because I haven't personally heard of this person, they can't be that famous. They love playing that game. They're the end all be all when it comes to notability. Yeah, I'll probably end up. I got a whole bunch of Dragon Ball videos lined up, so you'll probably get another one, at least one more this week. I'm trying to keep them to a weekly thing now because when Super ended, I kept on saying I'm gonna do Dragon Ball stuff, and I just kept staying away from it. Um, but, there's a lot of stuff to dissect, so it'll be a lot easier to kind of just take all the ideas. I haven't forgotten about the uh, why Chi Chi was wasted video, Ruben. I'm just again writing out the script. You'll probably get one before that just because it's gonna be a more minor character. So that's why it's easier to just, go and do the smaller ones first. Oh God, what a horrific week. I got called by this guy on, I think it was maybe Thursday or Wednesday. And he said to me, he's like I guess one of the employment people for Pizza Hut, and he's like, "Oh, we saw that you filled out all these this application, but can you perform the task of delivery driver?" And I didn't say this to him. I'm just thinking in my head, if you know this person is unemployed, how the hell would they be able to finance a car? Like with Pixie Dust, do I just summon the funds to uh, use for gas money? Like it's so. Anyway, so this was the reason why I was not accepted for this position. Uh, but whatever. Like me and this other person were talking about how they try to pretend they don't have company cars, that everybody has their own vehicle when they work for these clowns. And this person also said that they believe that that was them, basically like they had no intention to hire me. But I was like, well, if that's true, why didn't they act in the same manner as the rest of the different pizza Huts I applied to, where they just don't say anything? So it's that same kind of red herring where all the places usually ignore you, and then someone finally says something, you all excited, and then it's the same, BS as usual. What a terrific thing that is. My chat died before it even began. Damn. Like after Ruben gave that explanation, you guys just all had your keyboards melt. It turns out that defund the police is a scheme by both Democrats and Republicans to privatize the police. The left has really. What did you say, Ruben? I don't believe I'm reading what I just read. I read the part about the scheme with defund the police being this tactic by members of both parties to privatize the officers, but what is that? Is that a swear word I see in past tense? Oh, what a revolting sight. Can't believe you would do this. Typing that foul language in my chat. How is California dealing with the second lock? These nicknames, Gavin Nuisance, is really getting on my nerves. Yeah, we've been having a big spike in the last must be 2, 3 weeks. But I mean, hey, we're still not doing as awful as Florida and Texas, who have both gone. I actually have a relative that I was sending them the statistics. Let me see if I can find it. Go through my messages with them. But basically, what I was doing was I was showing them. No, it's a. Well, I'm Catholic, but whatever floats your boat. Ruben, the thing is, whenever you type certain words, I'm a little wary because I don't want to. I get demonetized all the time. So that's the main reason I kind of reacted in a, like type of manner. Okay, so where's this damn thing? April 23rd is when I sent this person this list. At that time, Florida had 27,000 cases. That was 2 months ago, almost. Yeah, 2 months ago because 23rd of June. So um, Florida had 27,000 cases, and Texas had 20,000, and now they both have over 130,000. Jesus Christ! And my state of California, we shot past New Jersey. I think this week or the week before that. And it looks like they've actually predicted that Florida is going to replace New York if it continues at the pace because in the last 2 days, they've had almost, was it 18, like almost 19,000 new cases. So it's really kind of disgusting and sad what's going on over there. And Georgia's doing awful too, but it's not as terrible. They're in the early, was it 70,000s, which again is not good, but it's not good when anyone gets sick, but it's still better than the numbers that are, here and in those other two states I mentioned. Yeah, it looks like Newsom won't be able to ride the coattails of this to a 2024 presidential campaign. It's like, yeah, I'm the guy that saved California from the virus. No, you didn't. Oh, by the way, Ruben, we've determined that your name is offensive to some people, so we'll be renaming you tomorrow. Have you seen all the little? They've been getting rid of monuments. The virus. Yeah, that's what Dio says. They've been getting rid of monuments. They took, I think it was 3 episodes of Scrubs off of some streaming service because they have blackface in them, and they also The Simpsons, a show that has no business even still being on the air. They announced they won't have any non-white any white actors playing non-white characters. Got rid Mac. Wait, what? I don't know what Dio was saying. He confused me. But I was looking at this stuff and I was trying to explain to this guy that the monument stuff is dumb because I don't see how getting rid of those makes anyone's life better. But I'm fully in support of it if you can get a majority of the people that live in the area where the monument is built to get to support getting rid of it. So if you have a vote and most people say let's remove this 100-year-old statue, because if you don't do that, you run the risk of, let's say somebody builds a statue of MLK and and someone doesn't like him and they go, oh, well, I don't like this, so we're gonna tear it down, or it's not a good precedent to just take it upon yourself to remove a public tribute to a historical figure. Should step down their seat for that. A should step down their seat. Oh, I hope that's not who I think it is. Yeah, I really hope that that's some other character with that name. Now Ruben's over there erasing himself. He realizes he made a great sin when he decided to type those outrageous comments. I just want to clarify, I didn't delete his stuff. I don't usually ever delete. I don't even remember getting rid of anything he's ever posted. So yeah, I saw that deal. That kind of gets on my nerves because there's a difference between putting on some paint to look like another ethnic group and doing a voice. I think I can do some fairly good impressions of I guess various white people should they force me to not be able to do the voices anymore because I'm not white. Like I just the idea that those two things are considered similar is really disturbing. Should step down and give up their seats to a trans person of color. Oh, you mean cis males? Man, I remember I met this guy who he hates when people put he slash him in their bio. And it was funny because I actually had a person who I'm on this website and she did that. And it's not one of and I should just clarify the website does not make you do that. She chose to write with her very feminine name and appearance, she slash her. And I was just sitting here like, who the hell would not think you're a broad? Oh my God. The most prominent. Oh, I remember her. Yeah, she was it number 5 on KND and then Black Arachnia and who else? But yeah, I don't that's what gets on my nerves that they're trying to pretend that, you know, voice acting is similar to putting on some paint to look like another ethnic group. It's two completely different things. Hell, if you think about it, my own show is gonna have to have like everybody that's on it jump off except me because there's a whole bunch of non-black people voicing black characters, but like who cares, you know? Like I said, this is just companies trying to make themselves look good because until this Floyd thing happened, they didn't give a damn about any of this stuff before. You didn't hear anyone saying let's remove 10-year-old episodes of some show with some stupid paint uh, that nobody cared about before until this past month. Hey, Ruben, they're gonna put up a statue of me. Oh, Dio, you remember what they did in Kai where they made him blue? Ruben, they're gonna put up a statue of me, and then in like I give it 80 years, it's gonna get removed because somebody feels like it. The current activists hate MLK because he was against the ridiculous vandalism that they're engaging in right now. Well, yeah, that was a big difference between the actual civil rights movement and this buffoonery that's taking place now, where when they did protests, they were actually trying to make people's lives better by allowing them to drink and eat in certain places and go to school in certain areas. When they do protests now, they go from getting mad over police brutality to screwing with stuff that has no bearing on anybody's life. Like, who went hungry because there was blackface on an episode of a show from almost, what, 15 years ago? Who died because non-white, what was it? White people played non-white characters. Like, what is that? That the man, that episode of Friends, they love even though the best parts that they love from him are when he was still on the right wing anti-LGBT. Yeah, that's what's weird because, um, the whole part of being in the Nation of Islam was they're intolerant of homosexuality and really any LGBT stuff. They've got, women in these kind of subservient roles. They're not beating them, but I mean, you get the point that it's so antithetical to what is considered good or the right thing nowadays. But then they're embracing people from that, and it's not even just people who changed their minds or switched. Like they're focusing on that part of his life, and they're using. It's weird, complete paradox. It's like this. I saw this video about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, where this guy starts it off by saying how he wishes people were tolerant of when they do those like gay shippings of characters and like cartoons or whatever. Like he wishes people were tolerant of that. And then about maybe 5 or 10 minutes in later into the video, he's like, if you wanted this character to be in this movie, you're stupid. Like, so wait a second, you want us to be tolerant of some parents that aren't even real, and that's why people don't like them. But you're gonna be intolerant of us wanting a certain character in a movie. Like, damn. How do you say one thing and then do the other? Mm, yeah, people are really weird on here. They say and do one thing, and they say one thing and do the other. Their protest is that Malcolm X eventually left the Nation of Islam, but they leave out that MLK and was also against violence once he left the Nation of Islam. Yeah, well, Ruben, we already talked about how people, even if they know who someone was, they still know that much about him. So they're really shocked if they'll probably accuse you of lying on them if you mention those two things. So I said people are so aggravating. They just, oh yeah, I might do another Wikipedia video because they're doing something else that's stupid on there. I haven't edited since last month when they got on my nerves for the final time, but they did something really dumb on there that I thought would be funny, like I guess roasting. So I might do that. Who knows? There's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's just like I've never watched a show and gotten upset that a white actor was voicing a character of color. It's just so strange. Save the I don't need to save them. They've already been you know, I mean, look, when you get millions of views and you've got all that support, their stuff has been saved. But hell, right now there are people who have put up all of the episodes in compilation videos. Is it really an early live show if for the last couple of weeks you've been coming on this time? Yeah, I intended to come at 6, but this person is kind of they're taking longer to do something, and I don't know if I'll basically if I start at that time, there's a higher chance they'll come and interrupt it. So that's the reason why I did. But again, I it's still something I intend to do at 6. So you can relax, Mr. Technicality. I prefer this time, but whatever is comfortable for you, it's all good. Well, again, I am kind of neutral because I do like to kind of get out of the way, but because I don't know the schedule of those around me where they're all doing stuff, at different points each day, it's hard to map out those kind of things. Man, every Saturday was like it was a struggle to get there at 6, be like, "Go, come on, we gotta go do this." Yeah, so that's the reason it's earlier, or it's been earlier for the last few weeks, that there's usually something that cuts in the way. I just remember which week was it where I was up all damn day, and then I started the live show earlier than usual, and then right after I finished the live show, I just passed out. Let me see what week that was. Might have been 3 weeks ago. I just know that during it, I could, like, physically catch myself forgetting or not remembering stuff as easily because I've been up for, what was, like, 23, 22 straight hours. Like, damn. Mm, which one was that? It might have been the one from 3 weeks ago. Hey, whatever Ruben says goes. He calls the shots. I know he's been very mad that he hasn't gotten any more documentaries recently. But the biggest reason for that is like I said, I've been down and out with the political stuff for, I guess, most of this year now, because it's so boring. Like, it's the same two stories over and over. No, Kevin. Yeah, this has been a real. Oh, and then yesterday I had a person who's supposed to come over at what was it, like? It's supposed to be 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, and I went to sleep earlier than usual because I was trying to be awake. That's not true, Ruben. They've all. Um, Let me do this. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Gohan have all surpassed Goku at various points. But because they all did that in Z, but because Super is got Goku so far up its backside, they won't let anyone actually get screen time more than him or be in a starring role ever. Yeah, I do intend to eventually do a video on how Goku, like, destroyed Super. Like, just that character was used to make that show worse. Which, to be fair, it had problems outside of him as a character, but they still used him to screw it up in certain ways. So I'll eventually get around to that. Oh, and then Trex has finally decided to return. He vanished for so long that we forgot what his name was, what he looked like. It was all a blur. I'm trying to think what else I want to do for. I know at some point I'm gonna do some. These might be a little bit confusing, but it's kind of like the wasted video I did for Black, but it's a relationship. Um, it's a good idea. So, like, for example, the Goku Vegeta relationship has been continuously focused on, in Z and in Super, and in GT as well. Uh, but Vegeta's relationship with Piccolo, kind of after the Cell arc, isn't really brought up that much ever. And I would talk about, why it was good and why it sucks that we don't get anything new relating to it. So you'll understand when I eventually get around to doing those, like how that's formatted. This is like a big cartoon. That thing on Monday where the guy called me and said best of luck after I said I was willing to speak about the and they are so lucky I don't just like that I think about stuff ahead of saying it because I would have cursed so many of these people out at various points. Mm. And again, it's not because I'm just how was your week? There were some good parts and there were some very annoying parts. Let's see. Kevin says, "Is Piccolo's relationship with Gohan and Super any different compared to Z?" No, Super relies on the nostalgia of Z to make it even have any meaning whatsoever. They have Piccolo sacrifice himself for Gohan again, and they also have them train together prior to the Tournament of Power. And it's all again, it's all designed to basically stick you back in the Z. You mentioned someone was supposed, yeah, they were supposed to come at 10 yesterday, and they didn't, and I was very upset because I went to sleep early so I could open the door for them or be awake for their arrival, and they bailed on me. So that was annoying. Oh, and this has been the week with the most engagement from these excrement employers. And we had the one on Monday that was acting goofy. We had the one on Thursday, and we had the one on Friday that acted ridiculous. Yeah, the one on Monday was just out of the blue. And I actually mentioned it during the stream, and then the one from yesterday and the day before that, there was no girl envoy on this. Like, I really don't find that funny because I actually tried to accommodate this person and got screwed over. But whatever. Let's see what this is. Yeah, I apologize for the noise. A lot of sexual assault allegations have been coming out lately. Yes. Decides to complain 2 years later. Who complained 2 years later? Oh wait, is that are you talking about the allegations? Jesus Christ. I'll try to talk a little bit louder to kind of filter it out. Yeah, I saw where Bieber got accused, but it's just dumb broads waiting several years to even say anything, and then you don't even believe it because you know the person would have come out earlier and said these things when they happened. So it's just them being stupid. Also had, where do you stand with the whole accusation thing? You should be neutral until evidence comes out on either side. I'm so sick of going on Twitter or any of these other stupid websites, and you have some broad who comes on there and says, "This person touched me when 2008," and then some clown, "Well, I believe the woman because I would rather be seen as incorrect for believing the woman versus the." It's like, no, that's stupid because that's literally guilty until proven innocent. So I take the side of give me some evidence or shut up because it's too dangerous to let people get on here and believe anything that they say. What does the accuser have to gain by coming out against you? I don't know, fame, attention, notoriety. Like I'm good. Like go away with that. Due process is supposed to be granted for men, but it's not. You get accused by someone and, oh, you must have done it. That was definitely you. So that's the real reason I just stay away from that. How could I forget the most famous Supreme Court nominate, the most notable Supreme Court nomination of the 21st century? Why would you even ask that? It's like me saying, "Hey, remember 9/11?" I had this one guy we were talking about, what was that One Piece, and he was like, "Hey, remember, this warlord?" And I was like, "Did you really just ask me that?" It's like, "Really? That was an actual question?" Now, if he had said, "Remember what happened when this warlord did," I would go, "Okay, fine, whatever, that's fair." But like, I read the whole thing, and I know I'd say most of the named characters, like, I might get caught up here and there, but most of the big name ones I could probably recall. It's just like, really? The establishment liberals are now promoting Sotomayor after Ginsburg turned on them with the immigration ruling. Yeah, they're turncoats. I mean, look what they did to Collins. Oh my God, thank you for saving Obamacare. You voted for Kavanaugh. Envoy says it's really shocking how you can literally just accuse someone of something and so many people will just believe it because there is no such thing as due process. Right now, I can make an account calling myself, I don't know, Mary Sue, and I could tell people that Envoy 10 years ago grabbed my ponytail and then grabbed something else, and then you would have people who would believe it automatically. Remember, if it's got a clit, we'll defend it. That's the motto of Me Too. Why we're even on this planet. I mean, I've heard life on Mars apparently exists. They could just pump some air and water over there. We might be able to move to another one. I remember me and this one guy had this joke that I was gonna eventually just get sick of uh, Earthling women and then and get in a pod and go to Mars and Jupiter and Uranus and like all travel the various cosmos in the galaxy looking for like some alien broad. Yeah, I didn't buy it either, Trex, but it is what it is. What's up, Grand Zeal? A good got me too'd after he just died recently. The accuser is, yeah, they love accusing somebody after they die. Mm. I mean, remember what they did with what was it, Jew Wario, that guy that the stream on 2 years ago, where this dude was dead for, let's say he died in early 2014, and he got praised or whatever, and then 4 years later, some woman's like, he touched me, and everybody instantly believed it, and I was like, really? We're gonna just no proof, nothing. Okay, all right. Man was there for almost half a decade, and it took you that. And it's like I guess the reason I bring it up is because they always say the person they're accusing has power. I'm like, but they're dead. They can't do anything to you. You can destroy their reputation posthumously, but they can't retaliate themselves. Trek says, "Me Too" movement create a domino effect. Men are no longer approaching women. Less men are getting married. Well, we talked about the what was it 30-year birth rate? What was it? Birth rate low, um, low birth rate. So in the last 30 years, I like how I quit. Like I stopped approaching chicks in general the year before Me Too started. I find that funny. Like you can almost just feel the tide turning in the wrong direction. Just believing something or someone without evidence is ignorant or blind faith. Man, don't bring up that group Trex. I have no association with them, and I every time their members come over, I just roll my eyes. Like, really? I think I'd mentioned I had this one guy who kept spamming if I was a member of that other group, and I was like, dude, I'm not. Just because someone is sick of the way chicks act when it comes to the romance stuff doesn't mean they're automatically affiliated with any of these teams. My team is me. And I don't feel like sitting with a bunch of dudes on forums talking about broads all day long. Well, I don't think the rate of lesbians has increased. I think it was, I don't know, maybe, whatever. The woke individuals of the wrestling fandom are going out of their way to rehabilitate Sable. Yeah, that's called bestiality, Envoy. I'm just tired of a lot of these. Like, I don't know. I wish the chick stuff wasn't as difficult as it was. And then, like, on top of it, you've got all of these lies and accusations, and it's just I'm not. I'm too tired to to get involved with that kind of stuff again. Like, I remember I mentioned that somebody wrote on one of these streams I was watching, "The juice is not worth the squeeze." That's kind of how the chick thing is for me. It's like, yeah, sometimes you think you might debate wanting to try again, but there's just too many of them that don't show any actual interest, or if they do, they're trying to play you along. Uh, and then on top of that, you've got the ones that accuse you of doing things. It's like, it's not worth it. So I try to stay away. It's hard sometimes, but you got to remind yourself, how many attractive broads have you seen, and how many of them actually had a interest in your interest? They weren't doing something entirely self-serving. That's why I mentioned the dingbat that had the kid. When you talk about a broad that had a guy paying for a storage unit for her for a year, and she was cursing him out. It's like, you look at something like that and you ask yourself, if she could not give him sex, would he have put up with that at all? And the answer is no. So, you can't let yourself get swindled into the short-term benefits of being with a broad and then ignore the long-term consequences of them screwing with, anything that you either work for, like your reputation or personal finance. It's not, you don't, there's too many cons to the short-lived pros of being with one of them. And that's assuming they even get with you. A lot of times they just want to sit on the phone and talk forever, and I'm good. You have a good point. I understand people have issues with God and religion, but it does seem since that has been diminished, crazy things are still happening. I could have sworn it was less people were into where I could have sworn I saw a poll where they said more people are moving away from religion. But hey, maybe I'm dumb. I know I saw the one where it confirmed there's a 30-year birth rate decrease. Like, it's been the lowest in 30 years. I mean, I do. It is hard to prove a lot of the stuff about chicks. That's why I just give examples. I don't try to say this is fact, but we do have proof that they are procreating with less men than they did in the past. So that's like the one statistical thing we can prove. Somebody will still defend that. Well, they're just people can't afford things anymore. It's like, people couldn't afford things years ago, and they still, yeah, 80/20 rule. Yeah, I'm not making that up. Maybe it's just the human experience. Yeah, but this is what I'm talking about. I hated admitting that social media was as big of a problem as it is, but you didn't see a lot of this stuff 20, 30, 40 years ago. You didn't have to compete with a bunch of dudes online to get a date, and everybody knows that. I even said earlier on a stream, maybe it was like a week or 2 ago, that if social media existed 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been born because they would have had too many guys going around my mother for, my father to stand out. But this is what I was talking about when I said that so many of these problems have been created by the situation of the modern broad having a really, really inflated ego, and that ego being nurtured by the internet, and then people, I guess men who want to get with one kind of just having to. I mean, you see what people write to me. You have to go and get an exercise. You have to have six figures. You like, they basically try to turn you into Superman for some bimbo that isn't smart, that's not funny, that owns nothing. And it's just it's not it's too much of a hassle. And then on top of this, the broad can accuse you of something and people will believe her just because she has a vagina. Like, what part of that equation remotely seems fair or like something that a man should really invest his time in? Because, and I'm just going to lay this little dirty secret out there. The only long term thing I wanted to do with a chick was get married. Uh, and the only reason I wanted to do that was because I wanted to have a kid that was born in wedlock because I didn't want all the negative statistics that come from you get the point. A lot of men who talk to these bras just want to get screwed. And they'll put, and ironically enough, they end up getting screwed by certain circumstances that come from being around these chicks, like with that guy paying for that storage unit and getting, talked to like he was the worst thing ever. Uh, but yeah, it's not a risk worth taking. You don't get enough benefits to sustain the cons that come from it. I see you meeting another country. She won't be American. Uh, I mean, whatever. My thing again is that even if it were to happen, the fact that it took over, oh God, I don't even know how many years just to go like, and I guess that's really what my problem is. If getting married was an issue, I could at least accept it. It's this big commitment, whatever. But people act so they like these chicks act like pussies if you want to go on a date. You know, for something that really is minor in the grand scheme of things, and they make it that difficult. No wonder marriage was always out of the question because they can't even go on a date, much less some lifelong commitment. So I'm just saying that even if it did happen, I would still think it's ridiculous. You had to talk to this many broads to meet one that wanted to go all the way. Like that really is insane. If you bring a woman from a third world country to a Western country, they will become, but they're already westernized. They have all the same social media websites that we have. I told you I talked to a broad from Trinidad. She did the exact same ridiculous nonsense that I guess any of the homegrown people over here would do. The craziest thing is that you can get married and that's Eve only half the battle. The next thing is raising a child, not getting divorced. Divorce is way too common. Yeah. I mean, there's so many pitfalls, and you know, it's really just it's too upsetting to want to like, get that invested in it to have it blow up in your face like that. Or you love said, "Hey, I'm going to say hi back." A bunch of third world chicks already act like skanks in their Insta. Exactly. Oh, and then you go in the comment section and then you see a bunch of guys going, and then you wonder why no one stands out. I remember I talked about this one broad that I was like talking to. She came on one of my videos. She's from the South, and I remember I looked at her Instagram, and I was just thinking to myself, you had all of these guys. I'm not trying to make myself sound big when I say this, but just think about this. All of these men were doing that little thing, and none of them did she approach or talk to. But the one of the ones that didn't do that, she paid more attention. I just thought that was ironic. You wouldn't catch me dead leaving though uh, you look attractive comment on any of these people's pages. Only time I ever compliment any, I even got into a conversation actually about this with someone a few years back, that the only time I compliment chicks is if it's some kind of talent based thing. Um, so you will never see me tell a broad, to her face that she's pretty or attractive or none of that. Very, very, very seldom. Uh, if there is a positive comment, it's like, "Oh, thanks for doing this. Hey, you did a good job on doing that." But just because my thing is, they already get told by all these dudes online that they're, goddesses and look so radiant and amazing, and I'm good. I don't need to contribute to that. A lot of these men are already in relationships too. I mean, I guess. I was in a stream and we were talking about compliments and the dumb things some guys do for men. Some guys carry and stay on the phone with them while talks to him about other dudes she's interested in. Yeah, I don't do that. That's why I said I don't get friend zone, because when they say no after I'm like, hey, I like you, whatever, that's it. That's why that one, what's her name, Triple L. That's why she got as mad as she did, because I was like, hey, I'm not about to play second fiddle for no other man. You can go to hell with that. So when she got blocked everywhere, she still tried to. Who is that? Marky Griff. It's a new character in here. I thought he was on the fighters roster. Oh, Megumi finally decided to appear. Oh, I'm glad you like the baby Gohan concept. I just wish it had some more views, because I did draw several pictures for that video, but whatever. Mm. We ain't doing no friend zone nonsense. I just imagine Megumi. Some brother's like, "Can we be friends?" And he says, "No." And she says, "How come?" "Yeah, we ain't doing no friend zone nonsense." Like, it almost as if it's sacrilege. I could picture him doing that, just with this disciplined frown. We ain't doing no friend zone nonsense. Gracing us with his presence. If a girl has her snap in her IG bio, it means she's talking to plenty of. Oh, I hate that, man. I was on Snapchat for maybe, I think, 2 weeks, and I got rid of it. I was like, this stupid website. But let's not run away from it. Well, I mean, my thing is that when you can buy sex, and a lot of these broads are not willing to, what's a good word for it? See, here's the disconnect, right? You have certain chicks that will go on these websites and they'll claim that men only want them for their bodies, but then you'll have men who will talk to them month after month to supposedly acquire their body, when they could just get a prostitute in a much quicker amount of time. Like I said, that's just another lie they tell themselves to feel good about treating men like trash. I did like the GT video. I did forget to comment on your drawing as well. They did look cool. Well, that's fine. I was so disappointed. No, the one picture I left out, I didn't draw it, but I was thinking about it was Super Saiyan Pan and Super Saiyan 4 Goku using the was it the grandfather granddaughter Kamehameha? Everyone should avoid it. Women are on these apps because the bad boys are indifferent to her emotion. We got another new character. We just left a comment. I don't know who that is. Jack. Mm. Prostitute is considered an. Oh, damn! I probably got demonetized. Oh well. Considered an offensive word now. We are now required to refer to them as sex worker. Yeah. No. Oh well. Because a what's a good word? Can who? I don't remember doing a stream with that person. Make millions. Well, you love remember the video with the guy that had the Facebook account with 4,000 friends with a female name, and he just sat on the account for 30 minutes and he got called by like 3 different guys. And he mentioned that if he was criminally minded, he could scam them out of the resources. I thought you called them escorts, or is there a difference? Well, escorts don't necessarily have to perform sex acts on you, whereas prostitutes, that's kind of what they do. So escorts is, I just see it as a fancier term, to for the same reason, or for basically for the it's a different word used to get to the same conclusion of getting banged. So that, I guess that's the difference. Because I remember when Backpage before it got yanked, they actually had a lot of the people who were in the, well, it wasn't called the prostitute section, but they had a bunch of people who went over to the escort section. Yeah, I don't always cry and shout about women. I have a very diverse pool of content. So there's a big difference between me and him, but oh, whatever. We all get lumped in the same category. Suing Twitch for, oh, I saw that where it was like 25 million. He wants all the women on their band. That he's only following broads or something, that like the website is forcing him to follow these chicks. That was funny. I remember someone read that a few. I thought about doing a video on it, but it's been covered in other places. Yeah, Trex. I think it should be legalized. Um, I mean, as things currently stand, they let it just flow on the black market. Envoy says you always got to check those types of broads and not bend over for them. Oh, is that the one that sold the bathwater, Ruben? Or should I call you Nabur? No, I'm just dissatisfied with modern relationships. Again, I'm not part of any of these groups. I'm part of my group, the Justin group. My team is me. Mm. Slum Digger says they really should legalize it. It's not secret the Gov is not shy about making money via alternate routes. They have been in the drug game for decades. I like how you put alternate routes in quotation marks. I could just picture some government official. We've been in the drug game and other alternate. He was like alternate routes for quite a while. Yeah, where I don't I'm not on any of these forums. I don't talk to any of their members, and yet I'm somehow affiliated with them. Because, like I said, you cannot talk about this without being part of someone's team. Just like with politics, if I do a pro-Trump video, did you become a Republican? If I do an anti-Trump video, damn Democrat. Like you just can't win. I'm new to this dude. Like I'm not reading his comments. Like he's talking to the chat more than me. Trek says the government always want to portray a noble image, but complicit in so many aspects of society. Remember, they've been doing a literal genocide in Yemen for the last 5 years, where they've killed over 85,000 people. Worst humanitarian crisis in the world, assisted by the U.S. Envoy says that's the society we live in. Everyone wants to label you. If you question the Dems, you're a Republican. If you question men, you're an extreme feminist. If you question women, you're a misogynist. It's really weird too because it's like they half hear what you say. Like you'll get called sexist even if you say this critique of women does not apply to all women. Like I've said that multiple times, and you'll still have people who go, he just hates you. It's like, no, I don't. I just said there are multiple ones that don't do this, but they don't care because whatever you can do to spin a narrative, you'll go for that. If point out something had what is this? If I point out something bad a woman does, it oh yeah, it means you're a virgin. The thinking is if you were getting women consistently, you would turn a blind eye to their ridiculous behavior like an alpha. And Granzil says, "Yeah, women promote themselves on Instagram." I wonder what lollipop that what you mean by that. Yeah, I agree with Megumi. Too much labeling going on. Well, he received that before the bombing started. He started bombing over there in 2015, but he received the Nobel Peace Prize about I think that was 8 or 9 months into being in law. I know it was during his first year, but we were at war with Iraq and Afghanistan at that time, so he still was complicit in bombing, which is all the more amusing when you can just in retrospect. The president that took us from 2 wars to seven got a Nobel Peace Prize. What did Ruben say? A Somalian immigrant worker got accused of bringing, and that's inflamed the. Oh my God! So they're going to use that person as the reason to keep this conflict going. Did more for the Rainbow Mafia. Ruben says Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize solely for being the first black president of the U.S. Look it up. That's really the only reason he has that award. Well, that's why I said they did it during his first year. It was just a thing they planned because apparently electing a minority person automatically is going to usher in some great peaceful change to the world, or just a lot of it is tokenism that doesn't mean anything other than appeasing their own biases. Let's see. Trek says, "Remember when Lupe?" Oh, Kevin's over there telling some jokes. Remember when Lupe Fiasco? Yeah, I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. When he called out Obama, I don't think I remember that actually, but I remember who that is. Grand Zeal. Uh, Here's a little dirty secret about famous people. Whatever you're told about that person is usually all you know about that person. There are plenty of people who, in a heartbeat, would say, I loved MLK, who wouldn't be able to tell you that he got nearly assassinated 10 years before he actually got murdered. Uh, wouldn't be able to tell you that he skipped multiple grades of school. Hell, wouldn't even be able to tell you how many kids he had. They just, you know, again, just because you know who someone is doesn't mean you know that much about them. I even knew one person who admitted that when Obama ran for president, they didn't even know he was a senator. Like it's just, people, nobody cares about learning anymore. Mm. Yeah, he was against gay marriage during his first term. And then when he lost the support of a lot of those evangelical voters, he tried to solicit LGBT voters to supporting him by pretending that he cared about them. Mm. My mother made her boyfriend put his bank account in her name, so she has access to his money, and he just is a work slave for her. Well, yeah, that's what ends up happening usually when you're in a relationship and you have the misfortune of being the one with the genitalia that dangles. You end up having to pay for the other person. Oh, he has the mafia mom, Kevin. Well, Marky, if you were, it would be a lot easier to get a relationship. I mean, I'm not even gonna like, people call it sexist, whatever, but every single hell, I even did a video. You can go look at it. It's called Top 10 Worst Mothers of the 2010s. I didn't put their pictures in it, but some of those broads are hideous. Their own lawyer know they're mentally ill, and they still have kids. They still had some guy open them up and do that. So it's not there is no standard when you are abroad in terms of getting a relationship. Hmm. Megumi's like exactly. And that would be funny if Megumi was a chick. She'd be like, I don't understand what these men are talking about. It's so easy to get a romance. You're not applying yourself, person that approached dozens of chicks. Yeah, I mean, I would say broads have us beat in pretty much everything besides physical strength because like I've seen chicks, they get on social media, they complain about not being able to get a job. People have sympathy for them. If they complain about being homeless, people donate to them. I mean, it's just they really have us beat when it comes to opportunities. And a lot of it has to do with people having like this because there is this belief that there's this thing of male privilege. And it's funny because now people overcompensate for it. So they try to basically give them all the benefits that they think they should have had, while also giving men none of those benefits. So they leave us off worse twice. Yeah, we run the world in name only. Hmm. I mean, you might have more male lawmakers than female lawmakers, but uh, you look at a lot of these relationships, and it's the broad in control of everything. If it was a Justin world, people would it would be a hell of a lot more fair than it actually is. That wouldn't be too bad a one to work, and you sure as hell wouldn't have to talk to uh, more chicks than the number of years you're gonna live to get with someone. And I thought Marky was about to be a troll. He's writing some all right stuff. It's like, are you part of a team? It's like, no, absolutely not. Okay, Megumi says it's too slanted in favor of females to the point it really doesn't matter how they look like, anyways. Yeah, but you know what they do, Megumi? Maybe if you got a haircut, and maybe if you put on a certain kind of shirt, and maybe if you got a new hobby, they find a billion ways to complain about you, whether it's how you look or whatever thing you have. But then with the broad, oh, she's perfectly fine. She's there's nothing wrong with her. She's all great and terrific and perfect, and we should all just lick her in between her legs. And even OnlyFans is like another platform for chicks to gain more attention, and of course, funds just simply by uploading their photos. Yeah, which is the craziest thing in the world to me because I never got the appeal of being that. Like you get so swayed by a picture. Like when that guy was paying for the storage unit, I said, all right, well, he's getting banged. So at the very least, it kind of, even if I don't agree with showing all that out for someone like that, I still understood why he was doing it. But you're doing all this for a photo. Like the person in the photo hands the picture to you, and then they start doing this to somebody else, and that's apparently like a fair trade. These videos on there too, I heard, and I hear, oh yeah, Envoy, one of the broads even said that, and she admitted if I did that, I'd only have it was like a 3 or 4 or 5% higher chance of getting with someone. And I'm like, Dingbat, do you really believe that I would be the first man ever who got a date that regularly wore spectacles? Like, are you kidding me? No, she didn't even say change. She said get like contact lens or something. Those little things that fall on the floor and infect your eyes. But to hell with my safety. We got to approach chicks. Yeah, they're nasty little toes. Slum Digger says women has made it so that it is impossible to critique their looks via body positivity movements and toxic masculinity claims. Call them fat if you are call them fat, you are hateful, yet if you're fat, you are lazy. Well, remember when I did my Why Don't Approach Women Anymore video, I got called ugly by like 8 or 9 different dudes. And my point I was making outside of in subsequent stuff after the video was that if I were abroad and someone came on here and said I was ugly because I talked about not being able to get with dudes, I would have people from both genders saying, "Hey, leave that woman's appearance alone. She's more than what she looks like." But because I have the misfortune of not having a taco between my legs, I don't get those kind of defenses. Well, Urban World, we're having a conversation. If you don't like it, you can introduce another topic. Oh yeah, hit the damn. But they always do that where they come to a stream, they don't even hit the like button. They're like, "To hell with you." It's like I really enjoyed your stream. You hit the like button. Oh no, that's their favorite hobby. Hey, but it was a valiant attempt, masturbator. Oh, somebody did. Equality is never expressed fairly in the real world. Well, it's a scam because people say they want it, but then they don't act the way that they say. That's why when you see a lot of these first dates, it's the man that pays for it. It's the man that has to open the door for the woman. It's the man that has to approach all the chicks. Like I've approached again some number that's like over 80 or 90, but I've only been approached maybe at most 5 times ever. And every single time that they approach, I always reciprocate and they always introduce some new lie as to why they're not interested. But the point is, look at the disparity. You approach 80 plus times to get with someone. They approach, you know, enough times to barely have a basketball team, but that's fair. She shows off her. Yeah, Ruben, you didn't see the message I sent you on Discord where I was like, "Can you stop talking about your hair and discuss legislating?" Like, when you go around and get warped on these cosmetic things, she really does cement herself as not being a serious politician. Well, again, any of the ones that claimed they were interested, I didn't approach. So every single one that showed interest back, whether they were serious or not, was someone that came to me. So that's why I think the approach and stuff is. I could have approached 1,000 chicks and it would have been the exact same result. Because none of these people are serious. They just want to waste your time with stupid phone calls and all that friend zone crap. As Megumi pointed out earlier, first GF was Hawaiian. Now she pretends as if I don't exist. Marky says it kills your soul. I mean, it's really aggravating because there were certain things I wanted to do, which was, get married, have children, whatever. But it doesn't kill me because there's still other things I like doing. So I guess that's why I get sick of being part of those groups because I've seen those people and they literally just sit talking about broads all day long. And I'm just too multi-layered to let this one thing, you know. Oh yeah, they don't care. Well, they don't care, Mark. It's all about doing whatever they want to do, and if you don't want to do that, to hell with you. We told the story of Triple L and how she was steadfast and complimenting me on my intelligence and my, I guess, humor, found me funny, whatever, but never say anything about my physical appearance. And then what do you know? When I said, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" The writing was on the wall. Speaking of equality, if you get slapped by a woman, you are being mocked for it. But if you slap a woman, you will get burned for it. Yeah, Bader. That's why I don't like really being around some of them because they have this free pass where they can talk to you any kind of way and you're not expected to retaliate. Like, not even physically, but if you say something on the level of what they said, you have people who will instantly take their side. Um, so it's all just a losing battle. Gumi says they don't care, obviously, as long as they are good. That is all that matters. Everything has to be catered toward them and them alone. Silly double standards. Yeah, they're pretty ridiculous. But again, a lot of people just kind of subscribe to the same belief. Like they are given uh, subsidizing by men to just have these practices. I remember the one broad that was like, "Oh, I had so many people message me when I put my thing on Reddit," and I was like, "All right, cool, I'll disappear. I'm gonna lower the help clear the field so you can get a more suitable partner." She was like, "No, don't leave." Wonder what it'll be like in 100 years. Oh, it'll be just as awful, if not worse. Because social media is only going to keep advancing. And between people using the internet to try to get with children and these broad, like it's just a recipe for disaster. Now, Megumi, there was a presidential. Let me explain this with a reference there. There was a presidential candidate who was a front runner in the election that the 2016 election, and he actually ended up being the third person to drop out of the primary. And his words, I'm paraphrasing, but they were something to the effect of, "I'm going to help by clearing the field so a more suitable candidate can emerge." So I paraphrased him when I was responding. I was like, I'm gonna help to since you have so many men in your inbox, I'm gonna help by clearing the field." I mean, trap myself how? I'm not even in the process of getting any of that stuff anyway. That was just a goal I had that people kept spitting on. Mm. Okay, Bader says in some Indian reality show, a man talked about how his girlfriend cheated on him with 5 men, and the female judge who was interviewing him was blaming him for not satisfying her. Oh my God. Well, yeah, Marky, they don't hide it because they don't get punished for it. I mean, you have chicks who are underage when they have children, and people cuddle them. There was a video of someone that was under the age of 18 that had a kid, and I when I saw the like to dislike ratio, it made me sick to my stomach. People, they encourage this kind of stuff. Oh, there's the guy that almost got banned on Monday when he was trying to control me on my own stream. He's decided to reappear. Oh, let's all shut up. I want to hear what he wants to talk about because this isn't the Justin channel. This is Black Pill Gaming 2.0 or something. Black Pill Gaming Z Fighters. Yeah, Slum Digger. He came on my stream on Monday trying to tell me what to do, trying to bind my hands. Now, what do you want to discuss? Because I don't control my own thing apparently. Apparently, when I made the channel, I was really making one, so I could be mandated by another person on here. I mean, listen, Marky, the patriarchy thing is like there are certain roles that people need to fulfill. Um, but again, it all has to do with social media. If that demon had not been allowed to make every broad have 10, 20, 30 different dudes in their crosshairs, you would see a different result. I guarantee you. Because that's the one really big thing in terms of communication that is different between us and the 90s and the 80s and the other decades before. That's that one major, because think about it, telephones were around and people still, no, you didn't see these people grouping together to talk about how hard it was to get with the broad. Yeah, a black pill. I'm really not amused. Don't ever do that again. That's your last warning. Finding a chick on social media who is followed by less people than she is following is a real accomplishment now. No, Bader, he got banned by one of my mods in January, and I unbanned him. And then he came back and he wrote something crazy from what I remember. And then he's like trying to write crazy stuff. He's like, please get rid of me. Yeah. Well, Slum Digger, my thing is this: people always say that a lot of it has to do with them getting the same number of coins or like the same amount of wealth as a man. But think about it: men have a lot of times more wealth than chicks, and they still try to go and get abroad. So just by having some set amount of finances, that doesn't stop you from being interested in the opposite sex. That narcissism has increased to amazing levels. Now, you didn't say anything about Yang on Monday. You said, "Why are you talking about this?" It's like, really? I mean, if you don't like the topic, go somewhere else. I'm not the only game in town. I've got less than 3,000 subs. You have people on here with 3 million. You can go watch one of them. Hell, type in live stream on just on this website. I guarantee you can find a whole bunch of other people. It's part due to income increase, but it's also due to the advent of social media and the culture we have fostered surrounding it. Nah, Slum Digger, that was crazy. Do another Dragon Ball. I was like, I just did one yesterday. Do another one. It's like, what? I couldn't believe it. See if I'm missing anything. Trex writes, hypergamy has been unleashed. Women have a lot of safety nets that gives women the audacity to think and discriminate persistently with their choices. Like I said, I think it's a combination of social media and a lot of men who I guess let their private parts think before their brains. So Ruben writes, Kyle Kalinske keeps ranting about former Bernie supporters refusing to support Joe Biden and go third party instead, but at the same time ignores Howie Hawkins and the other third party candidates. Oh yeah, he doesn't cover them at all. I've looked at his channel very seldom. Markey says, I think a lot of women exploit men's fear of not being loved, socially accepted, etc. Yeah, they don't. I mean, when you have a society where people will call you, like think about it, Marky. If you go on some website right now and you get into an argument with another man or maybe even abroad, the first thing they go to, because everything has to take a sexual turn, you probably aren't getting any. So when you live in a society, both in real life and online, where it's considered like you're basically a failure, no matter what your other accomplishments are, if you don't have a partner, you start to kind of jump through. You become much more willing to jump through all the hoops to get with one. Oh, it's considered very offensive, you love. Oh, some people probably would rather be called rapists than virgins. And I'm like, hell, if these bastards don't want to, bang me, I don't know what else I can do. Man up, man. I man up by not bothering people. That's my definition of that. A woman is special if she holds out. Oh, yeah, Slum Digger. That was another. Wow, I just forgot that. I don't know how, but that's another thing that is kind of funny. That if a woman doesn't bang people, she's called, conservative, and she's saving it for someone special, and she's clean, and it's used as like this chastity praise, right? But if a man isn't, doing or has the same situation, uh, he's lame. No wonder no one wanted to bang him, and he's only ever going to get banged if he pays for it. I just it's all dumb. But then people get surprised, and I want to have conversations with other individuals because it's too much antagonism. Like I don't sit around thinking about who has had sex and who had it's just weird. Mm. I plan to just be the middle man. I don't even know what that is. Trek says the shaming tactics from Simps is comical at this point. It's not even just them. People have been shaming for I've seen chicks say that in response to some argument with a man. It's really. I remember there's actually one video of a prostitute saying that to him. I'm like, dingbat, you can't shame him for that when you don't know if he has had sex before. And it's like that's what you are. Like you literally get paid to lay down. Like shut up. Oh, speaking of liberal women, Trex, there was actually a Trump supporting broad I used to talk to about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and she posted a picture of her face, I think maybe 2 or 3 times, and she said she had 9 men ask her out on dates just from these 2 or 3 pictures of her face. And I remember just reading that because she posted it one day, and I was like, "Is that true? Is that really how ridiculous it's curved in your favor?" Like, imagine if you could come on here and you could get almost a dozen dates from just taking a picture where you go, like, instead of signing up for 50 dating websites and talking to 100 bro. Who cares? People make fun of you for not having sex. People shame you for having so much for having no, no, they don't. Grand Zeal. They only shame chicks for that. They don't shame dudes for that. Hell, they even have a thing now with called slut shaming where you can't insult a broad for banging the whole neighborhood. I don't know who you love is disagreeing with. He says I disagree. I'm looking for a fight. Oh, okay, he's not referring to me. You should have put at Grand Zeal because I didn't know if you were directly interacting with me. First four letters for letters of simpleton or sim. I didn't even think about that, Ruben. I wish you would let me do whatever Black Pill. I would really like for you to give me the same luxury. If I make something you don't watch, don't come on there saying this again. You can just go. Marky says one day men will be arrested for just looking at a woman for too long. I mean, I remember one of them blocked me for saying hello to her, and another one got upset because I looked at her and goes like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, damn. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, you're slowly becoming one of my least favorite commenters because that thing on Monday was ridiculous. That was like something out of a cartoon. Have no room to vent about men. They have all the room. Not a slum digger. I don't like being told what to do, especially not on here. Imagine if Slum Digger had a channel and I go on there. You're talking about sports again. And he's like, I just did a video on Dragon Ball yesterday. Do it again. To hell with variety. Thoughts on Primitive X. Now that's not the only thing he did. Who is next in the celeb world regarding Me Too? Maybe DiCaprio. Uh and who they're gonna find somebody that it's gonna be someone that we can't think of. Grand says women don't have room to vent and most don't take women seriously because by majority rule, men built this society. I mean, I guess. Slum Digger says there's not too many spaces on this platform where people talk candidly like this. I mean, I think my main thing is I've been very open about a lot of different topics. I don't see a point in hiding them. Like the employment thing. The point of doing that stuff was to show just how ridiculous the situation over here is with acquiring stuff. So it's all of it is meant to just be open about certain things that are tiring when you just look at the amount of fruitless effort that goes into trying to make things better or different from how they currently are. He can protect his what? We're gonna change Marky's name to Sweary if he keeps using these dirty words. Men listen to women to get sex. That's all for the most part. Man, don't start saying that because that's against my position, which is that why would I talk to some broad for 5 or 6 months if all I wanted to do was lay down if I could pay somebody to do that in a week or less? Like it's just you get my point. That when you say that, that's one of the talking points for some of these other people. Well, Megumi's last message was SMH, and then he vanished. He decided to hang up his hat. Whew. I can't believe the UN is still forcing down Greta upon us. I didn't even know he said anything about that. Wow. For deeper connections, because I'm the same way. Yeah, it's really weird too because a lot of these broads will be very open about what is affecting them, and then you start thinking maybe this person actually feels some kind of thing, and then oh, it's this is you are a very good friend. It's like, man, more red herring, more tricks. You thought those were for kids, I guess not. And the Music Fiend decided to make his 11th hour appearance. He's come to give his Trump endorsement and walk out. Hey, when you leave Music Fiend, take Black Pill with you. We're gonna change his name to the Pilled Controller or the Pilled Puppet Master or something. Let's see if there's anything else to read. Oh, I can't believe Slum Digger would give me such a compliment. He said this is one of the few places where people talk candidly. It's like, yeah, Greta season 2 just started with Greta endorsing the stupid protest. Oh, Ruben, we're taking your statue down tomorrow, by the way. And we're also gonna what's something else they've done? We're not gonna let you voice non-Hispanic characters. I don't know. I really don't know that much about Sweden. I have to look into it. Yeah, these are Ruben's last hours. Thoughts on SJW invading Marvel Comics? I mean, Marvel's been on a downward trajectory in terms of storytelling since maybe the really the 90s, but probably the early 2000s is when they just like Brand New Day was in. Uh, killing Captain America off was really stupid, and having him travel through time and space and all that. Mm. Or was that Batman they killed? Oh, that was Batman. They did that too. But they, just they're not really doing anything that makes that much sense to me. And Danvers was way better as Miss Marvel than whatever Kamala or whatever her name is. If they're written in an okay way that does not feel ridiculous, I'm not too upset over it. What gets me is you come across a chick who says she is looking for a guy that doesn't simp over her or shower her with compliments. Even if she doesn't meet someone that doesn't do any of that, they still get put in the friend zone category anyways. Well, remember, Megumi, that Triple L would sit there and talk about me like I was some kind of really special person to her, and you know, sat up here and had all these like she was so upset that I wouldn't approach chicks anymore, where she would have all these like debates and try to argue over it. And you would think someone like that might be interested, and then you get the same stupid crap. The actions of them are much worth observing than, oh, definitely. Because I even said to Triple L, you can't sit up here and tell me I'm so special to you, and then your goofy self won't say anything to me for a month without me doing, like it would be different if I had caused an issue. She just chose to not say anything. I heard they're gonna remake. Oh well, yeah, that's stupid. Like again, new female characters, whatever, but don't change males in the like. Just it's dumb. Because if I change the chick into a male, people would get pissed over it. So that's that. If they want to make $5, they can go ahead. I'm just picturing like two people sitting in the booth. He's like, they're lucky I got a coupon. If they want to make $5. Megumi says, yeah, it's a lose-lose situation. Ruben said, new Pirates of the Caribbean sequel with Suicide Squad. Oh yeah, that's more dumb stuff. They're gonna have Harley Quinn as the lead. Uh, Remakes are the cheapest way to virtue signal. Hey, we heard you were outraged and feel underrepresented. Instead of coming up with a new idea, we will butcher an old franchise. Pretty much. Yeah, and that was I know it happened to Ghostbusters, but that was a pretty horrendous film. Trek says, I've been friend zoned, never been in predicament ever since. Um, I mean, look, it sucks, but it happens. Yeah, I didn't really see that, pay attention to him, Slum Digger. Well, Grand Zeo, they would get upset about. They were like, "Oh, in BT3, there's early Goku and end Goku and mid Goku and GT Goku." And it's like, but that's the same thing in fighters, where they like, you can't criticize one game for having a bunch of versions of the same character when the game that you're acting like is the greatest thing ever made does the exact same stuff. Hell, at least in what was that? Xuniverse, the first one, they only had what, one Goku. I guess they had the one from Z and then Super Saiyan 4. So they didn't even do that, and they had a roster that again I was fine with. Uh, who friends on men will exercise the I'm a good woman I don't want to have. Yeah, they love playing that game. Uh, it was very hard to take serious Slum Digger. Megumi says oh, I don't even want to hear about that movie. As many times as people tried to insult me with that, when I'm nowhere near 40, but whatever. All right, look, I'm gonna get off of here because I got some stuff I want to take care of. Um, we have that heel renegade Rev deciding to show up at the last moment to make his appearance. It's too little, too late. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I gotta go take care of some stuff. So see you later, and have a good day. Thanks for showing up.